I'm Lit Girl 66. Welcome to Introduction to Philosophy. Today we're going to be talking about the status of morality. And in order to make a distinction between moral opinions and scientific facts, I want you to take out a piece of paper and write down 3 scientific facts. And I want you to write down 3 moral opinions that you have. So I'll give you a moment to do this, and then we'll continue talking about this. Okay, do you have them down? If not, you can pause the video. So probably what you're going to notice is that the scientific facts have the ability to be disproven. You can disprove scientific facts. Whereas moral opinions seem to have, you can make arguments for either side of the moral opinion. In the case of the objectivist stance on the status of morality, they believe that moral opinions can be supported the same way as scientific facts can. So a moral opinion becomes truth once there are the more facts there are to support the moral opinion. So, for instance, genocide is wrong is supported by a series of ideas or concepts that support the moral opinion that genocide is wrong. And by a large topic like genocide is wrong, very few people will disagree with that moral opinion, because most people, nobody, as far as I'm aware, would go forward and say genocide is justified. But in the case of all moral opinions, that's not necessarily the case. Like, for instance, the stance on polygamy might be varying. Like, there might be some people who stand in favor of polygamy, and they will have a set of arguments that will support the idea that polygamy is justified, whereas those against polygamy will place forward reasons for which they believe polygamy is unjustified. And each of them might have a list of facts that are equally correct, or equally large, or an equal amount of facts on why polygamy is right or why polygamy is wrong. So the objectivist belief is sort of slanty on that opinion, and that's part of where its flaw lies as a means of looking at the status of morality. In the case of the relativist, which is the second means lens through which we can look at the status of morality, we are looking at morality only in relation to something else. For instance, in a classroom, there might be a student who is not doing as well in math as all of the other students in the class. In this case, if we're judging his math abilities in comparison to the rest of the class, he's not meeting the standard. But if we put him in relation to another object or another group of people, he might actually be doing rather well. It's only based on a standard. So the idea that genocide is wrong or murder is wrong, in relation to his doctrine or her doctrine, that might be the case. The person's moral opinion is in tune with the moral opinion of his cultural or her cultural group, as well as with the doctrine, in which case that is how you would look at the status of morality in the perspective of the relativist. Everything is only moral in relation to something else. If someone moves into another culture, an individual from one culture that believes polygamy is justified moves into another culture that does not believe that polygamy is justified, is going to encounter some difficulties, because according to the group that he was just in, polygamy is justified, whereas in the group that he's moving into, it is not justified. And therefore, what he is being compared against is no longer the same, and therefore he is believed to be incorrect rather than the larger group, or what he is comparing himself against. So, in the case, then is a last perspective on how to look at the status of morality. This is called emotivism. The emotivist believes that humans have no ability to make rationalized decisions. The fact that we believe that polygamy is wrong or polygamy is right is only based on what we emotionally, instinctually feel. The reason for which, for instance, the emotivist might believe that we feel that murder is wrong is because we instinctually, as human beings, have emotional reaction to murder that is negative, and therefore we feel murder is wrong. However, part of what lies in the criticism of emotivism is that it does not distinctly explain the reason for which certain people can believe various things on the same topic. Because emotivism particularly suggests that all people are going to say murder is wrong. But obviously, there are people who murder, and there are people who might not express a desire to see or watch violence. So, does that necessarily mean that they are not rationally making those decisions? Or what is the reason for this diversion on these ideas in humanity? In the case of, to return to the theory of relativism, another difficulty that arises in the case of relativism is that any moral statement can be made justified or made true or false depending upon one's surroundings. So it's not a definite statement. We can never say for certain that this one moral fact is necessarily true. So I hope this was helpful in understanding the status of morality. And I'll see you next week. Bye.